Hey everybody, my name is Spencer, and in this video I'm going to review the board game Dive, designed by Romain Caterdjian and Anthony Perone, published by Sit Down Games, who did send me a copy of the game for the purposes of this review. I'll tell you a little bit about the game, who I think it's a good fit for, and ultimately, if you should buy it. But before I dive in, see, the diving and water puns just kind of write themselves. I don't want to use them, so I have to actually fight against the tide. Sorry. I usually embrace puns, so I don't have a lot of experience navigating these waters. Sorry. I guess I'm just overflowing with cheesiness. Ocean! If you like puns, you'll love the Lighten Up initiative, so please subscribe to the channel. If you don't like puns, well, go get a sense of humor and then come back and subscribe. Dive is a very unique board game for 1 to 4 divers, in which the players will compete simultaneously to dive into the depths of the ocean to become the first to reach Space 23, or, more thematically, the Sacred Stone, which has been carelessly tossed into the water. No, not that stone. This is actually a rite of passage celebrated at the summer solstice on the fictional island of Windbark. You'll press your luck and make strategic decisions to earn the title of hero, but you can't get down there alone. You'll be helped by friendly sea turtles and manta rays, while also trying to avoid deadly sharks of all shapes and sizes. Here's how it works mechanically. Now, I don't always go into much detail on mechanisms in my reviews, but I think it's important for Dive because it's so different than anything I've seen before. You need to understand at least somewhat how the game works in order to make an informed decision. To begin the game, you can, if you feel familiar enough with it, choose a companion animal that can be used once per game for a special ability. They all have a different ability that feels unique. I do enjoy playing with them, they add an extra level of strategy, but not always necessary. Next, everyone looks down onto the stack of transparent ocean cards. They'll have all kinds of sea creatures on them, but the only ones that really matter are the manta rays, turtles, and sharks. That might be a bit confusing at first for some, so here's a helpful acronym. MERTS! No, not that MERTS. On their dive boards, players simultaneously program tokens behind a screen to show how they plan on executing their dives. It's important to note here that only one dive level has to be programmed per round. Of course, it must be the first one, but anything after that is optional. I don't know why you wouldn't, although there is a special case I'll get to later on. When everyone is done programming, screens are removed and the dive programs are executed. The air tokens are double-sided, one with sharks and one without. Each token program corresponds to a dive level, or card. You'll place the token down on the side to show whether you think there's a shark on that level, based on, of course, what you see in the ocean. You have to do your best to guess what is on which level, which is very tricky. What appears to be on the second level may actually be on the third or fourth. Just like in my approach to marriage, being right is important. For each level you successfully program, you get to move your diver down 1 space on the depth board. But if you get 1 level wrong, you only move as many spaces as you got correct before guessing incorrectly. And that's the basis for the entire game, except for the numbers on the tokens. Now this is something else that might throw people off when they play the first time. The numbers represent the speed at which each diver moves through each level. Speed is only important for determining who gets to use the help of the friendly sea creatures. The highest number on a level gets to move extra spaces based on which animal is on that level. The neat thing is that you can stack multiple tokens to increase your speed. My favorite animal has to be the manta ray. It moves the player all the way up on the depth board to the next lowest player. It's an excellent way for a person who is way behind to catch up. In fact, there are many moments in the game when there's this friendly, "Hey, you get back here." It's balanced because the manta ray has no benefit for the person currently in first place. Of course, they may try to earn it so that nobody else gets it. That's one of the things I love about Dive. It's a game about perception, sure, but there are many strategic decisions to be made. Which levels do you place your tokens? Should you go all in on level 2? You might be confident there's a turtle on level 3, but how many other players will go for it? Will there even be any players left on level 3? Those are just some of the considerations you'll have to make when playing. Then at a certain point you have a bigger challenge. There's a certain place on the depth board in which you get into the deep end. After that, once you get a single level programmed wrong, your entire program is wiped out. Nothing's saved. So here's where you might not want to play all of your tokens. Or you could just double up on the levels that you're confident in. And that's also a moment where players in the back can catch up. I appreciate both the manta ray and deep end methods of balancing the game. I definitely feel that the game is mostly balanced. Why do I say mostly? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Now, there is the ability to play with an automated player, the chief himself. You can add him into a game with 1, 2, or 3 players. I play with the chief by myself, and I found it to be a fun challenge. It's also very simple to execute. There's just a deck of cards that represents what the chief does each round. No other upkeep required, and I love that I can just break it out and play. I did beat him, but just barely, and it certainly felt challenging. In fact, all of Dive feels challenging, but not in a way that makes me want to pass it over. I enjoy this unique element of looking into these transparent cards. There are surprises when what people thought was correct turns out to be incorrect when revealed. There's excitement when you discover you are the fastest and get to use the red turtle to move forward 2 spaces. This excitement, the surprises, the challenge, and the novelty all combine to make an enjoyable game. Will the novelty wear off? Well, only time will tell, of course. I do wonder if a player could become a master at perception and win every single time. I found that the more I played, the better I got at determining what is where, and therefore programming, while newer players had a much more difficult time. This might be a game that you break out every now and then instead of playing multiple times in a short period of time. Unless you're always playing with the same group, like as a family. Then theoretically you'd all be getting better, making the competition more even. Or there are some people who are naturally good at it because of their perceptive abilities. And then you have people who don't have good eyesight. What about them? So you can see how it's hard to determine the type of gamers this game will be a good fit for, but I'll do my best. I think this will be a good addition to a family game night. It's not a complex game at all, very easy to teach. I think the suggested age range of 8 and up is pretty accurate. I played it with my 8-year-old and 4-year-old. Emma, age 8, did a pretty good job, while Jane, 4, had trouble. There is a variant you can use when playing with younger kids, maybe 5 and up. While it works well, it takes away the racing element. It just comes down to guessing where the sharks are. I would classify this game as a filler. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes to play, great for kicking off a game night, or in between longer games, or when you only have a few minutes to play a game. Really, it's good in all situations. In addition to the things I just mentioned, gamers who enjoy visual puzzles, perspective challenges, a little bit of luck pressing, and a light experience will probably have a good time. However, I think this is going to be a divisive game. There will be people who get frustrated at not being able to be very accurate in their programming. The press your luck element is there in a weird way. You kind of have to program whether you are confident or not. Not many opportunities to play it safe. I think there will be some that love it for a long time, while others will be fine just having played it once. I do think it is a game that everyone should try at least once. It's such a unique, refreshing experience that I want other people to have, and at 20 to 30 minutes, you won't be stuck in a game you hate if that ends up being the case. So if you aren't certain you'll enjoy it, convince your friend to buy it. Play theirs and steal it if you actually do end up enjoying it. For me, right now, at this point in time, I enjoy it. For a number rating, as a game, I'd give it about an 8. But I can't confidently say it will stay in my collection after about another 5 plays. Let's say that later on down the road, it does end up losing its uniqueness. That doesn't make it any less of a game, it just means I'm ready to move on from it. But I will gladly pass it on knowing that whoever gets it next will get to experience that initial wow factor, those surprising moments, and friendly competition when I played it with my family and friends. So, should you buy it? Well, it's not currently available at the time of this video's publishing, but pre-orders are showing anywhere from 26 to 35 USD. Considering the production of the game with those transparent tiles, cardboard stand, custom insert, and evocative artwork, I'd say any price in that range is worth it, even if you only play it, say, 5 times, especially if it sounds interesting to you. Otherwise, you'll probably want to wait to play a friend's copy or try it at a convention. That's about it for me. I hope this review made a splash for you. I was doing so good. I was hoping I'd make it to the end, but alas, my restraint took a nosedive. If you enjoyed this video and would like to experience more entertainment from the Lighten Up initiative, subscribe to the channel where you'll find more reviews, previews, tutorials, and even comedy sketches. If you want to help us continue creating content, would you consider supporting the channel financially? You can do that for as little as $1 a month over at patreon.com/heylightenup. Until next time, don't take the board game hobby too seriously, just lighten up.